So we are now in August as I'm recording this video for you. Maybe this year hasn't been as you wanted. Maybe there are goals that you've set for yourself. There are desires inside of your heart. There are ambitions that you haven't achieved yet. Let's talk about that. So let's talk about change, about transformation. So if you wanted to maybe change your lifestyle, or maybe you're not happy with your weight, your fitness, your health, your energy, or you're not happy in your relationship, you're not happy with the way your life is currently, whatever it is about, you want it to change. So change can happen from two different ways. Change can be internal, it can come from within. You can arrive at a moment right now when you are sick and tired. You are so sick and tired of you having, of being fat, of being overweight, of having low energy, of not looking fit, not feeling energized, or you are sick and tired of being in a relationship that drains your energy, that takes away from you, that doesn't support you. What are you sick and tired of that you so desperately want to change? What is that for you? Or change can come from an external source. It can come from a demand, a demand that is put on you that force you to change. It could be you are graduating from college. That is a big change. You are moving to another country, moving abroad, changing country is a huge change that is external, that is forced on you, or you are just married, you are in a new relationship, that is a huge change. Or it could be an unforeseen circumstances. Change could happen in the way of losing someone, or someone being ill, or being in an accident. Change can be external or change can be internal. When it's external, it is forced on you, it's demanded out of you from an external pressure that is put on you. And when it's internal, you engineer and architecture the change. So whatever, wherever you are, that is at a cross point where you need to change, we are going to talk about that. Change could also come from you being in a higher level responsibility job. You could be getting a promotion. You could step into a bigger responsibility job, right? That is an external demand on you as well that forces you to change. So identify if it's internal, what are you sick and tired of that you no longer want to tolerate? Is it you being sick and tired of being diseased, ill, low energy, being unfit, of not looking at the mirror and not being satisfied with what you are being thrown, the reflection that you see? Or you, like I said, it could be a new responsibility on you, wherever it comes from. Audit your life, audit the change that you want to make happen. So identify if it is your health, your relationship. We are talking now about internal change and how you can engineer change. Is it that people that surrounds you in your environment are toxic, that don't support your goals, that drags you down instead of lifting you up? Or you not having enough time, you feeling overwhelmed? Where do you need change? Okay, identify that. The second thing is You want to identify where do you need to create change. Where do you need to create change? If you are not healthy, you are unfit, you are unwell, you are not happy with your body image, you are not happy, you are not attracting the relationship that you want. One key things I can give you here, you want to identify a keystone goal that if you change will transform everything in your life. If you change that thing, everything else will change. For example, for me, 1.5 years ago, I decided to change my health and fitness. I was sick and tired of being ill, of being suffering from low energy, of being my energy being taken away from me and not helping me and supporting me in fulfilling my potential because I lacked the energy to do so, because I was always ill. I was sick and tired of my condition. The first thing I did was went to the doctors, got onto new medication. My disease is hormonal. So I got better treatment, a better doctor that supported me on that. Then I went on a health and fitness journey, changed everything, went from a size 44 at the height of being overweight, of being ill, of having low energy, to being a now size 36 to 34 to 36, and feeling energized, feeling health, feeling alive, feeling fit, feeling wonderful, feeling good about myself. The reflection in the mirror, I love it. And that impacts everything else in my life. The way that I show up, the way that I feel, the way that my relationship is different, the way that I feel about myself, my self-esteem, my self-worth, my confidence level, everything has been impacted by just working on my health and fitness. So identify for you what is that keystone goal that you need to work on and change and transform that will dramatically impact everything else for you, and focus on that. Okay? So that is the second thing. The third thing I want to go through with you is what blocks change for you. When you think about change, what comes to your mind? Where do you feel that you have been unsuccessful in changing, in dramatically transforming your life before? Maybe you've been on a fitness and health journey. Maybe you've started a diet before. Maybe you've tried to lose weight. Where did you feel blocked before? Did it come from you not believing it can happen for you, and that's why you've somehow sabotaged the result? What are the blockers to change for you when it comes to change? Do you think it's not possible? Do you think that you don't have the skills to drive the change for you? Do you think that it can happen for others but not for you? It happens for just some lucky people but not for you. Or are you making change conditional? You are not allowing yourself to fully transform and get on this transformative journey because you are making change conditional. That is, you can only work on yourself when your children go to college, or you can only work on yourself if your partner is fully on board with you. If they don't support you, you can't embark on this change journey. Or you can only invest in a coaching and mentoring transformative journey to take your performance and your life to the next level if you have the money. If the money that you need is in your bank account on top of everything else that you need to do and the expenses you have. You will not allow yourself to invest in yourself in the amount that you need to, even though you want it deep in your heart, because you have to have that money appear in your bank account for you to get on this change transformation. You are making the change conditional. The third one is when it comes to blockage, your blocks in terms of change and transformation, you are making change linear. That is, what does change looks like for you in your mind versus what really does change look like? For example, if you're on a health journey, it looks like a smooth sailing to you achieving your results versus the reality being you will have obstacles, you will have frustration along the way, it will be difficult, you will have blocks that you need to overcome, you need to course correct. If you thought that the change was going to be linear, you are setting yourself up for failure, because change is not linear. The path to massive transformation was never a straight path. It is full of ups and downs and turn and roundabouts. And when you think it's linear and when it gets difficult, you tend to quit. You think it's not working. You don't allow yourself enough time. This is so important. I see so many people making that mistake. They don't give themselves enough time to see result. They compare themselves to others. We'll get to that soon, but they compare their result to other people's result, where they are to other people's result on the journey, and they think that it's not working for them. It's not fast enough. So that brings me to the other one is you don't allow yourself to get off track. So if you, for example, you are on a health and fitness journey and somehow you eat a cookie, now you are going to eat the whole box of cookies and now you are off track. You just quit because God forbid you get off track. God forbid the journey is not perfect. God forbid that you eat a cookie along your health and fitness journey and now you have to start all over again. You have to quit and start all over again because that journey needs to be perfect. You can't eat any cookie, you can't have any dessert. You have to have just perfect days where you are sticking to your diet 100%. It can't looks like a 70% sticking to your diet and 30% you allow yourself those leeways. No, 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 no. It has to be perfect, and that what takes you off course and get you to quit. The fourth one is what would support your change and make you consistent when it comes to change, when it comes to big transformation. For example, for alcoholics, they've got AA meetings, Alcoholic Anonymous meetings to support them all throughout their life. And they have, anytime they feel they need support, there is an AA meeting around the corner for them. For people I know of that stick to a keto diet, they've got keto meetings, group support meetings where other people are on that same journey, where they share their struggles, when they can overcome those setbacks with the support of a coach, a support group. Where would a support group help you on your transformation journey? And how can you support yourself with other people that are on the same journey as you, with an expert, with a coach that can support you, hold you accountable, and give you feedback? that would help support and facilitate that change and transformation journey, especially if it's a huge transformation. It's going to take you at least a year, 2 years, and to change, and then to stick to that change, a lifelong journey. Change is not something that is at one point in time. It takes a long time. You've got to allow yourself time, patience, support, and be gentle with yourself. If you are going to be harsh, if you expect things to be perfect, if you expect things to be smooth, then you are setting yourself up for failure. The next things that I've written down is, how can you make that change once you've arrived at the milestone that you wanted? Now the next thing is, because you have a fear of reverting back to your old self. Let's say I'm now a size 36. Uh, my parents, I give you an example. My mom told me, do not throw away your old clothes. God forbid you get overweight again. But being able to stick to that change, hold that change, make it permanent is another ball game. It's another skill. First of all, I threw away all that clothes. There is no turning back. It's about burning that boat. How do I make that change permanent and stick to it and make it part of my identity? First of all, it's about attaching myself to this new self, to this new version of myself, making myself so attached to it that I do anything and everything to protect that. Second is, if you want to make that change permanent, you want to train yourself and condition that change in across different environments. You want to train change in your day, that change, that version of you, like that is a size 36 in my example. How does that look like on a daily basis? How do I go about living that version of myself day to day in a boring life? Day to day, that is not exciting. When I'm feeling bored, how does that version of myself show up? Does she eat a cookie and then feel fear and think that she's jumping on the off the bandwagon, or does she stick to her diet 80% of the time and give herself 20% leeway to be off track? So that change is permanent. How does that look like in an environment when it's different, when I'm on holiday? How do I make sure that I'm still having fun whilst sticking to my diet? How does that look like when I eat out at restaurants, when I'm enjoying myself on a holiday? How does that look like? And let me tell you, I've been able to do it many times on holidays and not putting on weight, because that's been part of my identity, and I normalize that behavior even on holidays. Plus, I make my everyday life as exciting as being on holiday. That's another training for another time. My daily life is different from my vacation life. That is what high performance is all about. I don't feel like I need to get away from my daily life to feel that I'm enjoying my life. My everyday life, I'm snacking on happy, which if you go back to the other training I did on happiness, you would know that I can predict. Right now it's 1:30. At 2 p.m. I'm going to enjoy a delicious healthy meal, and I'm going to drink my favorite tea. That is me snacking on happiness every day. At 5 p.m., I know what I'm going to have, what I'm going to do to feel happy. I'm going to go on an evening walk by myself, enjoying myself fully, being by myself, listening to something that is going to build my learning, my skills, tapping into my full potential, and thinking about how I'm going to bring my purpose at the service. The skills, my potential at the service of my clients, of my community, impacting lives. That brings me happiness whilst tapping into my innate drive, whilst living life, whilst being on vacation. Can you see how I've laced everything into the daily? So that I don't feel burnt out. I don't feel I need to get away from my ordinary life, daily life. The next things is you want to change the new you, the new version of you in a stressful condition. When you are stressed, when you have pressure, when there is a threatening situation, when there is an accident, how can you hold your new identity? I'll give you an example. 3 weeks ago exactly, I got a foot injury. I cut myself a deep cut with my blender. It fell off my hand and I tore open my feet, my right feet. That would have thrown me away, of course, in terms of my workout. As you know, my workout, my diet, my lifestyle is closely related to me being fit and healthy. I was able to, even though my foot got injured, I was able to work out, that is walking only, whilst being on holiday, 20,000 steps. So I was able to enjoy the holiday, eating delicious food and having a foot injury while still walking. That is an example of me integrating everything in uncertain, like different circumstances, different situations, stressful one where I had an accident, new condition where I was on holiday while sticking to my identity, to the new me that works out, that move my body, that hits her 20,000 steps even when she's injured, even when she has unforeseen circumstances, and enjoying different foods that are different from my daily diet, but still hitting her health goals. That is how you train the new identity and hold on to it. So you want to identify how you can hold on to the new change in different environments so that you don't revert back to the old you. And you want to identify what triggers you. That is the next one. What triggers you to your old identity? What is reflexive? Is it eating a cookie revert you to your old identity and you feel out of control? Is it when you have a new situation, you can't stick to your diet, now you go downhill and you go bonkers, you put on weight, you lose it, you lose control? What is it for you, and how can you train yourself to be even in those situations and holding on to that new identity? Is it people influencing you? Is it toxic people? What is it for you that makes you go back to the old identity that you no longer want? Is it you holding on to your old clothes and leaving that door open and letting fear control you and not tapping into the new version of you, holding on to you and burning off that boat? Finally, once you've done all that, you've trained yourself, you've held on to the new identity, you've been able to make it permanent. How do you know you've changed? How do you measure change? How do you know when you look at yourself, how does your brain register change? Because let me tell you, sometimes your brain cannot catch up with your physical change. It still shows you a version of yourself, an old version of yourself. It still shows you how you were versus how you are right now, and how do you show up differently to match the change. So for me, it was, even though I've changed physically, my fitness, my appearance, my identity hadn't caught up because I had to upgrade my identity to match the change. I was on holiday, we were taking pictures, we were creating moments, I was shooting videos. As I was looking at the videos and the photos, the pictures with my husband, and it was him as well. He was still looking at me as the old version. Can you see the perception hadn't upgraded? And I was so taken aback by my physical appearance. It was as if my brain hadn't caught up with the new me. And I had to quickly upgrade my identity and integrate that within myself and saying, this is the new me. Integrating that win. Wow, I've come such a long way. This is such a massive transformation. I can't believe this is the new me. And upgrading myself in my mind's eye. And my husband doing the same as well. Holding on to this new identity. This is who I am now. This is who I get to be. So you see, integrating change and reflecting that across the board, holding on to that, making it permanent, leaving no doors for doubts and fears, and shutting those doors forever, not letting other people convince you that you'll revert back to the old you. Cutting off those people, cutting off those possibilities, closing off those doors, burning off those boards. That is what it takes to make change permanent. The next thing is, how do you measure the change? Is really by comparing your before and after, like I did with the pictures, before and after, huge change registering in my mind. Physically, how do I feel? Do I feel different? How is my energy? How is my drive? How do I show up? How do I feel on a daily basis? I feel good. I feel energized. I have huge amount of energy. Change is registered physically, emotionally, in my mind, in my identity. And then concretely, my health markers, when I look at my blood works, my blood pressure is optimum, my heart rate variability is optimum, my blood work markers in terms of other health condition are optimum. And if it's not, what do I need to work on to make it even better, to match how I feel? There is always work. So do not let any external conditions throw you back into a downward spiral of negativity, of letting yourself reverting back to your old identity. On the contrary, use each obstacle on your way to assert your new identity and make it even more permanent. Just like I did with the foot injury, with the accident. Use every condition, unforeseen, negative, obstacles, whatever it is as an opportunity to assert your new identity and make it even more permanent. That's how I was able to trigger change, make change happen for me, use support to make change, really something that is supportive along the way, easy, tracking change, getting feedback, getting support. If I didn't get the support, create that support for myself, and then integrating the change and making it permanent across different circumstances and environments, and then making tracking change, measuring change to make sure it's really there. That is how change is mastered, how you create change. I hope this one really inspire you for change, and It's going to give you ideas on change.